Hey everyone, Shalon Winter here. As always, here is the risk disclosure. Trading futures is risky and you can lose all your money if you don't know what you're doing. Also, past performance does not equal future results. So take a moment and pause the video right here and read over that. All right. Also, quick announcement. The Labor Day sale is going on, 80% off all evaluations. Use code WIN80. This is going to go through Thursday, September 9th at midnight. Up to 10 accounts, 80% off the first month, 50% off recurring months. Grab your accounts, get those funded. Head over to futuresniperbeast.com/Apex Trader Funding. Links will be in the description. Make sure you're all subscribed to my YouTube channel. Follow all my links in the description. Follow me all over. Main reason also here pretty soon, I'm going to be, these trading sessions, they are meant to help, people, everybody, you all that are trading Apex, basically to give another perspective of reading the market. How I look at the market, how I trade it. But here in the next week or two, couple weeks, I'm going to be a lot more focused on helping other people trade the Apex system as well, using the Apex tools. And of course, there's already plenty of resources within the Apex Bootcamp, the trading room that we have, the mentor groups. There's so much. But, I'm just giving my perspective on it, and hopefully it can help some people. Everybody kind of, learns a little differently. Some people, I guess, kind of grasped onto different ways of training, basically is what I'm saying. I may have this, same message, different messenger type of thing. So that's just what I'm really doing. Like I said, I'm going to be a lot more focused here in the next coming weeks because I am a trader first and then I'm a promoter second. So, I promote, as you all know, I'm an affiliate for Apex Trader Funding. I'm not an employee. I promote it, but I only promote all that because I use these things myself. I don't promote anything I don't use. Again, I'm a trader first and I want to help people, and then just promote what I believe is useful and needed. So with that being said, this video, I've been starting to, everybody knows pretty much that I trade the LRE, low risk entry. It's a simplicity pullback of the market, of the simplicity trade. But what I've been doing lately is I started scalping simplicity entries. So just kind of giving myself a little bit more opportunity, because there's a lot of times, and I've never had a problem watching simplicity just run down and wait for an LRE, and I don't get that LRE. It doesn't pull back. And then the simplicity trend is over, and you probably shouldn't take a pullback because it already ran too far. How many of you has this happened to, where you're waiting for an LRE, you're just watching that market run, right? And it goes down 20, 30, 40, 50 points. And you're saying, dang, look at it go. Just waiting for that LRE. Next thing you know, it pulls back. You hop into an LRE and it loses and starts heading back the other direction. No, I've had that happen. And you have to kind of read these order prints, read the market, and know when it's trended for too long and when you probably shouldn't take that LRE. Well, in that case, if the trend has actually stopped and starts heading back up in the opposite direction, or down or whatever in the opposite direction, well, you can hop in and scalp that simplicity. So basically what I did, we all know simplicity is great and it works, right? We see Daryl kill it with simplicity all the time. But what I did, because I'm a scalper, I like set money management plans. I'm not very big in sitting in the trades for a long time. I'll probably do that later in the future, down the road. But I'm big on just having targets and taking profit. So what I did is I back tested for a long time. What is the probability of a simplicity trade what is the probability of it going and just grabbing 10 points? 10 points at a time. And what I found was the probability was extremely high, right? We know sometimes simplicity can go 20, 30, 40 points and get these huge runs. But what I did was I decided, hey, let me see what's the probability of this thing going just 10 points. And it's really high. So if you get into a simplicity entry, just grab 10 points or, the closest target. You have a really high probability of that working out on the good simplicity entries, not just on any entry. So in my LRE video, if you go back and look at that one, I show you when I take the best LREs that I like. And they all come from having a good simplicity trend. So in that video, I explain what I look for in simplicity trends. What tells me what is a good simplicity entry? So for me, I like breakouts mainly, and mainly breakouts. If there's a clear top and bottom going on where the market, if you see here on this video that I'm about to show you, we have a clear top, clear bottom. I explained this in my LRE video. And when it breaks out of that, that's when I love a simplicity to run and then take the pullback for an LRE. But in this case, on the breakout, you can scalp the simplicity trade, right? Now, if it's in a big, 20, 30 point range, then you only want to take simplicity if it's at the top to go down to the bottom, or if it's at the bottom to go down to the top or up to the top. That's basically it. And then of course you're using the order prints to tell you if it's a good break or not. Okay. So that's what I'm going to show you in this video. This trade session, I'm showing you my simplicity scalp. And as most of you know, I do trade pre-market. So money management and ATMs will be a little bit different pre-market and aftermarket, simply because pre-market obviously doesn't move as much. Aftermarket does, or after the market opens. So pre-market, I still 10 points. All my testing that I did, my back testing on this was 10 points for both pre-market and after the market opens. Now, I will say after the market opens, there's going to be many times that the stop, especially in the first 30 minutes of the open, is going to be huge, right? You might have an 80, 100 tick stop. In that case, you have a couple options. Option one, trade micros. Daryl recommends this. That's just what you have to do. Trade micros. A mini, even one mini on a big account would be too much. One mini risking 80 or 100 ticks, that's a lot, in my opinion. So you can do micros or skip it. Skip that trade, because on the simplicity chart, you can see where the lines are. You can tell how far your stop will be before you enter the trade. Skip it. Wait till the market slows down, maybe after 30 to 45 minutes of the open. Wait till it slows down. Wait till it has a smaller stop, or just go and do it on YM. It also works on YM. Okay. YM or RTY. Now, I will say on RTY and YM, you may not want to go for 10 points. You may want to go from anywhere from 6 to 8 points, okay? And then protect your entry. And what I mean by that is once it gets pretty close to the target, 5, 6 points, something like that, you may want to move to break even, or a nice level or order print, okay? So that's my ATM, basically. I start off with a 40 tick profit target and 40 tick stop loss. And as soon as I enter the trade, I adjust my stop accordingly based on the simplicity chart, okay? Now, if you don't know how to trade simplicity or the rules, go check out my LRE video. At the beginning of that video, I explain the rules and how to trade simplicity, because you do have to know how that works before you can take an LRE. So I'm not going to dive into that on the trade session here. And this video, I only took one trade. So it's not going to be, I'm not going to show you very much on this one. But I'm going to show you what I saw and why I liked this breakout simplicity. Okay. So I actually just sat down this day. Today's video is based on September 1st. That was Thursday. This past Thursday, September 1st. You can see the time, 8:14, probably 8:15, pre-market. That's Eastern time, so it's pre-market. Okay. So looking at the charts here, like I said, trend, if you look left, when I sit down, if you watch any of my other videos, I do this. I analyze what's going on in the market. Now, on this particular day, I literally sat down, hit the record, got everything ready, and noticed, oh, this might be a good entry here. Okay. And what I'm going to show you, well, let me just get going. Okay. So the trend you can see looking left, top left, heading down, right? Clear trend down back here. You can see that. Now, hit this COI, pulled back, went further, 49%. That left a white mini magnet there, and that dot on top of it means there was a mini magnet on my 30-tick chart as well. Pulled up, back down to it. Up, little chop, little hesitation in the middle, right back down there. Up. So what do we have here? You can see there's a clear top, clear bottom, right? Very clear. So now where the market currently is, what did it do? It broke. So we know after it hits a level or area, the third time or more, it's likely to break, right? So here it hit up, going. Now, as you can see, it's starting to change its pattern, right? It's not a clear up, clear down, clear up, breaks the pattern a little bit, doesn't get quite as far, gets a little choppy, breaking the pattern. Still makes it to the top. Now as it's coming down, get a little break of the little chop here, break of the pattern, and here it goes, it's breaking down. Now here we have a wall in ZOI. Okay, so we still need to break that. And we have a 200 level here, but I want this to break below here, okay, before I take it. Because if you get in like right around here, if there's a simplicity entry, yeah, it broke this, but then it could get caught up here and head back up, okay? But as it broke, it hit, look what happened. We had double clusters here. It means there's a fight going on in this area, right? Hit this wall, there's a little bit of a fight. A small bounce back up right to that bottom. There's some double clusters there, some clusters. Bounce back up, now it's heading back down. So when I'm looking at this, if this breaks through here again, we're likely to head down. Okay, so if I get an entry here, I'm getting in and heading down. So I'm going to hit play. And I'm explaining all this beforehand because the trade happens fast. Because I had just sat down and you can see this video is 12 seconds in, 13 seconds, right? And I'm about to hop in a trade. So I got in this pretty quick. Okay, so here we go. We're trying to break that bottom. So I'm just waiting. Just waiting. It's given that little fight. See what it's doing here. It's giving that little bit of a fight. We've got the double clusters. We've got these levels that it's broke through. So the market right now is telling me, the way I'm reading it, it's telling me, hey, I'm trying to figure out what to do here now. Is this going to be a support and we bounce up and just head back up, or are we going to break through? So another cluster right up there. It's starting to break through, so I hop in. Okay. These clusters are telling me a story. These clusters are telling me, hey, there's a fight, and if price comes below it, the sellers are winning. So there's a fight, there's a lot of orders, and it's breaking down. So sellers are winning. And since it broke, I'm hopping in. Okay? I'm hopping in. And you see as soon as I'm in, I have a 40 tick stop and a 40 tick target automatically on my ATM. Now what I do here is because, I'm just waiting now, but I'm looking to see what happens, and I'm leaving my stop there because if this comes back up, it's likely to run all the way back up. It's not as likely to just come back up and play around here and just head back down because of everything else that I said. If this heads back up, then buyers won, and it'll probably make its way back up at the top, and the same thing happened at the top that's happening down here at the bottom. So I'm gonna leave my stop there and just see what happens. Okay, now we know when we enter a trade, anything can happen once we're in, right? So there's nothing we can do. We just have to make sure we read it right. Now we're dropping another cluster. Okay. So if this thing breaks, as soon as this thing, there's still a fight. So as soon as this comes down, if it just needs that little bit more push. And if this breaks down here, then we're just going to run down. Okay. So there it goes. It breaks. Now I am already expecting, we have this wall here. So I'm already expecting if it gets to that wall, more than likely, we're going to might hesitate a little bit, right? Because it's a wall. So what do I do? Now, I drop. So I dropped my stop. Let me see. Let me show you. Normally, here, let me back up just a little bit. Because hold on 1 second. Whenever I'm pretty deep into a trade, I like to drop my stop and protect. I usually don't like to do that until I'm about 3/4 of the way into profit. But in this case, we have this COI, these clusters, all this here that tells me it should not come back up here. And if it does, it's probably going to run up. But then what I do is I instead of putting my stop this close, because also what can happen is it might test some of these clusters. So it might do a little pop up, and then run down. And if I have my stop this close, it might pop up, get me out, and then run down and win. And I just took a little loss on a winner. So that's why you see me go ahead and move my stop back up behind this area, because now if it pops up and tests these clusters and then runs down, I'm not going to get knocked out. And it's still closer than my initial stop was. But if it runs above this area, then it's just going to run up. So that's why you see me back up my stop. I changed my mind. I said, you know what? Normally that's what I would do. But in this case, with all those 4 clusters right there, it might just pop up real quick. And I don't want it to pop up, knock me out, and then run down. I hate when that happens. Especially whenever it gets you by like a tick. Pops up, knocks you out by a tick, and then runs down. I hate that. So, and then also, if you look, I went ahead and moved my target to above that wall that I was mentioning. Why did I do that? A couple reasons. We do have a wall, and I'm expecting a hesitation at the wall. My original target was this mini magnet. It more than likely will come down to this level because we have a mini magnet ZOI and this dotted line, which is a mini magnet on the 30 tick. I'm expecting it to get here, but this mini magnet is kind of off by itself, so that can kind of be a roadblock, and this wall is off by itself, so that could be a roadblock. That's a couple reasons why I did moved my target up to above the wall. But also, look how it's hesitating and how slow the market's going, right? So since it's moving so slow, what I do is I'm kind of losing not confidence in it, but I'm losing confidence of it breaking anything, right? So that's why I'm kind of like, let me just be safe, put my target right above the wall. So that's what I do. Now I'm waiting. Dropped another cluster, and bam, hit the target. As you can see, it blew right through. So it would have gotten very close. Remember, my original target was above that mini magnet. Right there, 193.75. Okay. And it got right close to it. Really close. Don't know if it quite hit it or not. So now here's the simplicity chart. And let me explain what's going on here. Because some of you are going to look at this and say, whoa, why'd you get in over there? Simplicity entry was behind. Okay, let me explain. Well, first of all, I didn't even have a chance to refresh my chart, so my dots are all messed up. This trade happened so quick. But okay, so here, if you're looking at the simplicity chart itself, without looking at this is why it's so important to learn the order prints and use the 10 tick and 30 tick chart for your simplicity trades and not just simplicity by itself. So many people just use the simplicity chart by itself and say, oh, we got an entry, I'm getting in, and then they get crushed. Okay, so here, if you're looking at the simplicity chart by itself, here, technically this bar, you have red line angling down, red line angling down, and this bar broke it. So you could have got in there, right? Same thing here. 2 red angling down, next bar broke it. You could have got in there. But then what would have happened is it hit this wall, bounced up, and then it came down. So why did I not get in back here? Why did I not get in at the original entry? Well, if you haven't guessed it, because obviously I can't hear you, but it's because the entry was right here. Why would I want to get in right here? Right? This is the bottom. I don't want to get in before it breaks the bottom. What if this would have bounced up and went all the way back up? I would have had some major drawdown or loser something. I don't want to do that. I want it to break. So it did break, right? But then what did I say? We have this wall and ZOI on top of the wall. I'm not expecting as soon as this breaks here to just break that and just go forever, right? And if it did, well then great. I probably would have just missed the trade. But I'm expecting once it breaks this, I'm expecting a little something to happen here, okay? And it did. So, yep, get that chart back up. Where'd it go? 1 second, I gotta... One second, I lost the chart. There we go. Okay. Sorry about that. So, because I'm expecting that, I'm waiting. So sure enough, it hit it. Bounce. So, and if you look, just look at the simplicity chart right here. It's not a pretty, simplicity entry. Okay. So there's going to be other trade session videos where it's going to have a clear cut, pretty entry, all that, exactly where you're supposed to get in on simplicity. But sometimes you have to wait a little bit. So I waited a little bit. It bounced. Yeah, I could have got in somewhere in here, but I'm waiting. I want a break. I want a nice breakout. So then it does all this chopping. So now here we have some angling down again where it's kind of more of a waterfall angle versus just kind of a weird funky angle. So it does this. We have like a little bit of a waterfall angle now, then a break, then a break of that bottom. And that's where I get in. Yes, it didn't go exactly straight down, and it had a little bit of a retrace because I was expecting that with all these clusters. You see it broke, came down to this bar, went back up, retraced, test this cluster, test that break, and then went down to my target. So that's what I'm reading. So, you know, sometimes this was a market read, simplicity breakout. Okay. There's going to be other videos. I'm actually going to post another one for the next day where I took a very clean breakout. Simplicity entry, normal entry. So make sure and watch that one. But I think this one's very important to realize how important it is to learn to read the market and be picky about your simplicities. Okay. So this was literally the only trade I took this day. I took that one. It was a nice win. Let me show you. Oh, see, let me show you the 30 tick too, because this was big. You see the 10 tick. Okay. So here's the 30 tick. Look what was on the 30 tick. Those are those mini magnets. See, look at all this chop. Chop, 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 chop. We have this top. We have the bottom with these mini magnets. And you see, oh yeah, that's what it was too. I forgot. There's this COI crash on the 30 tick. So that's what I was waiting for it to break. So as soon as it got down to breaking it, that's when I hopped in and took it down. You see? And if you look at this mini magnet, this is why I thought right here would be a nice target, and I figured it probably would go to, because that's this mini magnet here. And if you look left, what do you have? You had a nice stack here, broke through, a couple clusters there. Then look, as it broke through, it came back down and laid a mini magnet again on that exact same level. So that's telling you this is a level of significance right here, 12,190 right there, because it had all that there. Broke through, came back, tested it, left a mini magnet exactly on it, and shot up. So now that it broke this, I'm expecting it to come back down and test that again. You see that? It's just beautiful. These order prints just tell us what the market is, doing. It's giving us a story. And when you learn how to read that, it literally makes things pretty simple. Okay? Will every trade go the way we want it to? No. Will they all win? Of course not. But it gives us the best probabilities, in my opinion. So that's all. It's a little bit longer of a trade session. I'm about 28 minutes into the video, but you know what? This is worth it, especially because I haven't done a trade session on scalping simplicity. More of these will be coming because now I've really added this into my toolkit. So now I'm doing my LREs and scalping simplicity. I'm not trailing it, just scalping it. All right, so I hope this helps somebody. Again, make sure you subscribe to all of my social media outlets, my Facebook group, YouTube, everything. A lot of stuff is in development, so you don't want to miss it. Stay tuned, and I hope you all have a great day. Thank you. Take care. Bye.